Welcome to Micro, a podcast for short but powerful writing. I'm your host, Drew Hawkins. Mint syrup, violent currents, and glossy suds. This episode holds a lens up to everyday life and examines the profound effect of changed perspective. First up is a piece whose speaker distances himself from his head and his body. The result both discordant and humorous. It's called Headcase. It was written by Mitchel May and published by Stone of Madness Press. Enjoy.
I am my head. I carry myself whenever I am. My head feels a fire, and not boss, not one bit. I lost the ability to speak for 3 days once, and did not despair because my body did not ache and my head kept me company. Anyway, when my voice returned, I did not speak for 3 more days because I don't like how my voice sounds when heard from outside my own head. I only began speaking again because my head needed a break from me. My head thanked me, vigorously. She can't believe her eyes when I show her what I've done to my favorite place, and she asks, "But why?" And I tell her, because I can't keep it going, out there, not anymore. Her head and my head aren't on speaking terms, but her and I both understand what we need from one another. She didn't know it, but she helped me put my head's fire out, and my head didn't thank her for that, not one bit. If I could tell her what I don't like about my voice, I would. But I enjoy secrets too much, so I can't. She intuited it anyway, and now my head can't go back to the way it was, and I can only hope it'll all be all right, eventually. She made me mint syrup, which I drink with lime and fizz. I am my body. I do jumping jacks in her basement while she rides a stationary bike. We talk like that for hours. She says that's normal to me a lot, and I have no opinion one way or the other, anymore.
Mitchel May is a writer living in New England with his family. You can find him on Twitter at @SMitchelMay or on his website at scottmitchelmay.com. Our next piece is a poem as brief as it is filled with love. It's called The Prayer That Moves Through All Things. It was written by Adam I. and published in Ancient Past Literary Magazine. Enjoy.
The surprise of joy in a solemn moment, the sinuous, mystic dance, the climax of syntax. Every prayer is granted. I love you. There is a prayer that moves through all things and teaches souls to dream through the violent current of ages. I love you.
Adam I. is a poet and U.S. Army veteran from Los Angeles, where he lives with a ghost and teaches the clock how to love. You can find him on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Adam I. Poems. Our final piece is both a practice in mindfulness and a rejection of it, as subtle tone shifts and all too familiar detail ask us to pay attention to the dishes. It's called Resolve. It was written by Claire Taylor and published in Serotonin. Enjoy.
I am trying to be more intentional. I hate when people use this word. Intentional, present, mindful. Take notice while washing the dishes, a mindfulness exercise suggests. Notice the suds, the gloss of the bubbles. Pay attention to the sound of the water spilling from the tap, hitting the sink basin, gliding over your skin. Focus on how the water swirls down the drain. Notice how each day is a series of small, repetitive tasks stacked atop each other. Not enough to fill you up, to make you whole, but enough to weigh you down. Note how the weight settles into your lower back, aching in the center, a pain originating deep in the bone, something structural, something you are too old to bother correcting. Focus on your hands scrubbing the dishes, how the skin grown loose with age pools around your knuckles. Notice how you barely recognize these hands, weak and sore, always struggling with jar lids. Notice how you barely recognize yourself, the folds of your middle like waves, one on top of the other. Note what it feels like to drown. Pay attention to the sound of your scream, echoing behind your eyes, muffled by your pillow, beating against you like a bat through the twilight sky as you stand at the sink. Notice the heat of the water, the way the food stains lift from the plates, everything washing clean, everything disappearing. Notice how the sun fades away, how the sky melts from orange to purple to impenetrable black, how night descends without a care. Take note of how another day is ending, and here you are, still standing.
Claire Taylor lives in Baltimore, Maryland, where she writes for both adult and youth audiences. You can find her on Twitter at ClaireM_Taylor, on Instagram at Today We Read, or on her website at ClaireMTaylor.com. Micro is edited and curated by Dylan Evers, our social media is managed by M.M. Kaufman, and the show is produced and hosted by me, Drew Hawkins. Our theme song is by Matt Ordez. You can find all of the information about this episode's writers, their featured work, and the publications where they were published, as well as a transcription of this episode in the show notes. Find more of our shows wherever you listen to podcasts, or check out our website at micropodcast.org. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Podcast Micro. Thanks for listening.